Alright, let's say you are making a Star Wars fan film. Now, most likely you will need some CGI for that, and you might as well use free software. It's really easy to, well, it's easy to use after you watch this to make this. Um, it is free software. It's called Blender. I'm using Blender 2.91, I believe, but it will pretty much work for anything over 2.80. So, things before that are probably too different. It would be hard to compare, but um, now, the only other thing that you will need for like external add-ons will be a Sketchfab import-export plugin or add-on, and that is something that you can find. I will leave a link in the description for both the website because you'll need an account on Sketchfab, and I will leave a link to the add-on so you can get that too. All right, let's get started. This is going to be a Star Wars scene, so we don't need this cube here. That's called the default cube, and you don't need that. So object delete. Now, obviously, right now it's pretty basic. You just have the camera and you have the light. So click N, then you'll have this will come up. I'm going to click Sketchfab, activate add-on, good, and then here, obviously, you will need an account for that. So, or it won't let you on. You also need the add-on, of course, but if there are any problems with that, I can kind of walk you through that in the comment section. But I'm just going to look up TIE Fighter. Alright. TIE Fighter. Let's see. Which one that looks good? These all look fine. Let's go with this thing. That looks good. Just says TIE. Alright. Doesn't look great, doesn't look terrible. Alright, I'm going to go into here. See how this thing actually looks. So, this is, alright, it's a decent model. It's kind of translucent, but that doesn't matter for this tutorial. This is just a video on how you do a Star Wars shot. Let's take a look in animation. That is what we see right now. So that is why the first thing that we're going to do is, well, we'll go into animation first. And then see this camera right here? This is a camera. You want to kind of pan out here. Click this arrow, and then here you will see move. Click on move. Drag this out. That way, drag it until you see more of the TIE Fighter. That's pretty good, because we're going to show it moving forward. TIE Fighter moving forward. So that's good for it to start out. Now this TIE Fighter right here, alright, that looks fine. So the first thing we're going to do is go into shading. See the shading tab up here. Alright, this is what it looks like. Well, that's not what it looks like. Actually, it looks like this. And this is not what we want. Now, for now, I'm going to go into here. So, we're in object mode right now, and we're going to move that into world. This is basically the background. So, right now, we see world output and background. If that doesn't show up, you can just search that up and add. You can do add search and look those up. But right now, we are going to do add search and search for the next one, which is a color ramp. Color ramp, one word. And we're going to do color to color. And then I'm going to do add another node. There are going to be a number of these. I'm going to do. There are some other ways to get these with Node Wrangler, but we aren't going to use any other add-ons. So I'm going to do. Now that last one was color ramp. So next I'm going to use noise texture. It's not for audio. That's more like film noise or the little popping than it is audio. So, you know, that doesn't matter. Just go into noise texture. So then you'd want mapping, spelled normally, mapping. Then you're gonna go. All right. So right now, color ramp, noise texture, mapping, and now we need texture coordinate. Texture coordinate, that is good. Now you're going to go all the way over here, do object to vector. You're going to do vector to, what was it? Vector to scale. Let's take a look here. It looks like you're doing vector to vector. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, vector to vector. Makes a lot more sense. We're going to do factor to factor, I believe. Yeah, factor to factor. Then we're going to do, alright, we have this all figured out. Now we're going to go over here, and this is what it's supposed to look like. Obviously, this does not look anything like stars yet. So that's why we're going to go into color ramp. See this thing right here? You're going to move this down. Move it down a fair amount. But first thing we're going to do, see in noise texture scale. I'm going to scale that way up. Way up. That doesn't look like stars either, does it? That's why we're going to move this even farther down. Now that looks like stars, especially once we go into animation. Move this down. That looks like stars. We have what we want. So this is when we can really start the animation process. We aren't going to be moving the camera for this one. You can do that the same way. You'll see how to really animate anything. So if you want to move the camera during the animation too, that's pretty easy. So you'll select it basically like you're doing a screenshot. Select it, and then go into move. Looks like I'm already in move. So click this, and, well, no, keep it where it is for this first shot. Click I, location, rotation, and scale. For some earlier versions, it will say lock rot scale. If that's what yours says, it's the same thing. You can click that. So location, rotation, and scale. And then you are going to move it, or move it over. Let's move it over to 60. That's pretty good. Move it over to 60, and then you're going to move this way forward to, let's say, over here. Like I said, this is a very basic animation. So, and then once again, you're going to click I, location, rotation, scale, or lock rot scale, if that's what yours says. Now, to take a quick look at what it looks like, we're going to go back to 1, keyframe 1, and then click play. And that is what our basic animation looks like. So what I'm going to do, it doesn't look perfect. I'm going to take this camera. I'm just going to move it out a little bit. Just a little bit. That's pretty nice. That's good. I'm going to see what this looks like. I think this looks even better. Alright. This looks good. Alright. That's a pretty good animation. Obviously, for your Star Wars fan film, or whatever you're making, you'll probably want your shots to be a little more complicated. You're going to want to move the camera, because when you do not move the camera, it kind of looks like it's on a tripod. And you might think that makes it look more professional. Oftentimes it doesn't, so you might want to move that too. But for this, we're just going to leave it fixed. This is just a basic tutorial. So, alright, I think that looks good. If you have any questions for this, just let me know in the comments. And I will, I'm sure, be able to get back to you. Now let's see how this looks.